significant step towards having a renewable and alternate source of energy to the company. During the year, the company has won various government tenders under the Jal Jeevan Mission of the various state governments. Also, we have started supplying jumbo hollow sections to the various prestigious products. The company has successfully registered its products in the prestigious high-speed bullet train project from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. And it is expected that in the current financial year, substantial demand should come from this project. Going ahead, we target to improve utilization levels of our plants, increasing share of value-added products, further strengthen our distribution network, and strengthen our brand identity. Demand of steel pipes and other structural steel products are expected to increase with pickup in infrastructure and construction projects. Moreover, automotive and consumer durable industries also expected to see growth in the coming years, led by the manufacturing push. Our focus remains on the increasing our revenues, operating profit margins, and profitability in the coming quarters, as the better utilization and volumes would help us in operating leverage benefits and reduced cost on per ton basis. This would increase profitability and strengthen our balance sheet. I will now hand over the call to Mr. Arvind Bansal, our CFO, to take you through the financial results for the quarter and full year ended March 31, 2021.
Good morning, everyone. I will take you through the financial results of FY21. Our total revenue registered 11% year-on-year growth for FY21 and stood at rupees 1340 crore as against 1210 crore in FY20. Our total sales volume for the year FY21 stood at 2.71 lakh metric ton, which is lower by 4% year-on-year. Our EBITDA for FY21 has seen a growth of 19.5% year-on-year and stood at rupees 70.8 crore as against 59.2 crore in FY20. EBITDA per ton stood at rupees 2611 per metric ton for the year as against rupees 2091 per metric ton in FY20, which is an increase of 25% year-on-year. Our PAT had registered a growth of 11.8% year-on-year and stood at rupees 22.8 crore as against 20.4 crore in FY20. The strong business performance for the year has led to strong operating cash flows. The net cash flow from operating activities stood at rupees 27.6 crore for FY21 as against minus 1.8 crore in FY20. Our net worth for the year FY21 stood at rupees 205 crore rupees as against 173 crore in previous financial year. Debt equity ratio has improved to 1.45x in FY21 as against 1.71x in FY20. Interest coverage ratio has improved to 1.96x in FY21 as against 1.79x in FY20. Current ratio has improved to 1.37x in FY21 as against 1.43x in FY20. On the working capital front also, our efficiency has improved. Our net working capital days has reduced from 71 days as compared to 78 days in FY20. Further, our debtor days stood at 33 days compared to 41 days as on 31st of March 2020. Our inventory days stood at 51 days compared to 54 days as on 31st March 2020. The company issued and allotted 13.7 lakhs fully convertible warrants at the price of rupees 164 per warrant, aggregating up to rupees 22.47 crore to promoters, promoter group and non-promoter group category. Out of this, 5.7 lakhs warrant has been converted into equity share till date. Out of this, the company has already received 12.63 crore rupees. Balance warrant yet to be converted are 8 lakhs. This equity infusion will further strengthen the balance sheet. With this, I would like to open the floor for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Sudhir Beda from Right Time Consultancy. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir. And hearty congratulations on very strong cash flow and good working capital management.
Thank you, Sudhir bhai.
My questions are, in Q4, we have seen the volume at 67,500, which is down significantly if we compare with the Q3. And that has resulted in overall negative volume growth for the FY21 as compared to FY20. So is there any particular reason or have we lost some market share to the bigger player like APL and Surya? That is my first question. And so second question, what is the volume guidance would you like to give for FY22 in view of your capacity expansion? And also, what would be the likely margin per ton in view of more value-added products are being introduced? So these are my two questions. And so thanks for opportunity.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Sudhir. Your first question, which relates to the Q4 volume, I would like to mention here, there was a unexpected and sharp correction of steel prices in the month of February. The prices of hot rolled coils in the spot market, they came down by almost 6,000 rupees per ton. So the general consensus was to liquidate the inventory and to slow down the purchases. And we utilized the same period for our maintenance shutdowns, which were due for a very long time. So we utilized this period to upgradation of the plants. So the volume was sacrificed due to this particular factor. Number two, regarding the visibility for this financial year, FY22, we have seen the first quarter being challenged due to the lockdowns caused by the second wave of pandemic. But I'm very hopeful the remaining 3 quarters should be fairly very, very strong. The order book is very healthy. The prices have also stabilized to some extent. And in the current quarter also, the company has done, fairly well. Not, the volumes are not severely impacted. We have come out of this. And this financial year, the volumes should definitely go up. But, we would reserve our guidance for this financial year because, we are not sure how the third wave will pan out. But now the companies are now very strong footing on a short-term and long-term basis to increase the volume and increase the proportion of value-added products in the total product basket. The company is doing some backward and forward integrations, which will increase the volume of value-added products, like galvanized products, pre-galvanized pipes, crash barriers, solar structures, and so on.
So EBITDA per ton would go because in Surya and APL, they have guided around 4,000 to 4,500 EBITDA per ton. So how do we see our EBITDA moving up in this year?
So, the EBITDA per ton, this will go up from here because our facilities have just commissioned the Maharashtra facility. So we are expecting the EBITDA per ton to move up from here.
Great. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1 now. The next question is from the line of Ritesh Shah from Investec. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So my first question is on working capital. Can you give a highlight on basically where our inventory days are specifically, and how should one look at the working capital days going forward? Inventory days, if you can break it up between finished goods as well as raw material stock, that is something which will be quite useful. I have more questions. I'll wait for your answers, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Because actually for this working capital, if you see, from last financial year, our debtor days has reduced from 41 to 33 days, and inventory has also reduced from 54 to 51 days. And it is expected in the current financial year also, this reduction will further continue, and debtors and inventory days will further reduce.
Sir, any number that you would like to qualify over here? The reason is when we look at both the variables, be it rent or inventory, it is materially higher than few of the peers that we have in the industry.
Actually, we would love to give you the numbers, but due to this pandemic situation now, this COVID wave 2, wave 3 and all this, it will be difficult to give any specific numbers, but we are very much hopeful that reduction will be there.
Okay. No forward guidance at 2 years out or 3 years out, where do we see our net working capital in less than 10 days? Anything from a strategy perspective, long term, that the company is looking at?
For long-term guidance, we will say that this improvement process will continue, and our debtors and inventory efficiency will improve. However, again, I will say that it will be difficult to put any specific numbers.
Sure. So if I have to extend this question a bit more, if one had to assume a scenario wherein the raw material also steel prices had to come up, hypothetically, pretty drastically, which doesn't look like right now, but if that had to happen, then how will the company tackle that particular situation? What I'm trying to understand is, will there be a bit of inventory losses, or it is something which is part of the game and one has to look at it over longer term tenure? How should one understand this scenario?
Yeah, Ritesh, regarding steel prices correction, we have a fair bit of idea, how the prices are going to move in the short term. So we take track of that, and we pre-position ourselves in terms of the inventory. So we try to minimize any inventory loss which is caused due to price deterioration.
Sure. So, going forward, sir, if you have any incremental strategy on inventory days, specifically from a commodity risk point of view, I think we would definitely allow to hear that. So this was the first question. So the second question is, we have increased capacities like around 580 KT right now. But if one had to break this thing up between different type of structures, say heavy, medium, light, how should one understand this? That's the second question. And I have one more third very basic question for you.
So regarding working capital, as Mr. Arvind said, we are conscious of that, and we are continuously bringing down the debtor days. But at the same time, we have to have some kind of credit policy for our distributors who have been with us. So we are trying to minimize this and incentivize the cash sales. We are also working on a cash and carry model through our depots. So that is also on stream now. So I'm hopeful, once these the external challenges they are over, so we'll gain from the net working capital days reduction.
Sure. And
the second part regarding the product differentiation between light, medium, and heavy, it depends on application. So our focus is on the galvanized tube business, which is a value-added product. This product we are supplying in the Jal Jeevan Mission, the potable drinking water through pipes. Also, pre-galvanized tubes, which is being used in the coastal markets. and also the large diameter pipes and hollow sections, where the competition is fairly very less. So the focus will be to expand these product categories in the coming financial year.
So how should one understand this? Is the capacity what we have, is it fungible entirely towards this value added, or is it only a part of the capacity which can actually do galvanized and pre-galvanized? So if I'm just trying to understand if there is a shift on value added products, to what extent is it possible? Is it more about creating a market, or we already have the back end ready and that's what is left?
So right now, we are having about 15% of our total volume in the value-added segment, and we are doing some capacity, some capex on increasing the galvanized proportion. And in the coming few years, we are hopeful to take this total 15% to quite a big number.
Okay. And last question, if I may, is that okay?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So last question, it's a very basic question. So basically, when we talk about value-added products over here, or say tubes or pipes, just wanted to understand is when we sell this product to the distributors, all the dealers, is it on a per kg basis or is it on a per meter basis? I presume if it's pipes or something, it should be on a meter basis. Otherwise, it has to be on a per ton basis unless there is a substantial value addition or something which is really niche. Now, if it is on a per kg basis, which my common sense tell me, then how do we sell it or how do we qualify it as value add products? Because end of the day, we are still selling it on a per kg basis. Sorry for a very basic question.
Yeah, Ritesh, the galvanized pipes for the water transportation, they always go on a per meter basis. So
okay.
So it is on a per meter basis, and it is not entirely on the per kg business. But even where the per kg business is there, the EBITDA margins on per ton basis are relatively much higher than the conventional ones.
Okay. So should one safely assume that 15% of our volumes is something on a per meter basis? The balance 85% would be on a per ton basis. Would that be a fair way to look at?
I would say, between 8 to 10% of such volume of galvanized business.
Okay, that's useful. Thank you so much for the answers. Wish you good luck, and we'll look forward to connect with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritesh.
Thank you. We would like to remind participants that you may press star 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Rajiv Desai from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead. Mr. Rajiv Desai, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead with your question. Mr. Rajiv Desai, I would request you to unmute your line if muted from the handset. There is no response from the line of the current participant. The next question is from the line of Sriram Rajaram from Ratnatraya Capital. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. I have a couple of questions. One is it possible to give application-wise breakup of the revenue? And secondly, I missed your point. I mean, what is the reason for such an increase in realization on a YOY basis?
Hello?
Yeah.
Actually, regarding this breakup on application-wise, our product is used in many industries, whether it is construction industry or, infrastructure, agriculture, housing industry. And, we are selling our pipes to our distributors, and those are selling to the end users. So actually, it will be very difficult for the company to really give the specific numbers on application wise.
Okay, because earlier you used to give a breakup called tubular, flat, and others kind of breakup that in your earlier presentation I've seen. So is it possible to give some kind of breakup regarding those lines?
Such breakup we will share with you after the call.
Sure. Thank you so much. And the realization part?
Only regarding the realization per ton, actually the steel prices globally and domestically has increased too much. Earlier the price of HR coil is in the range of 40 to 45 rupees. And now it has increased to from 55 to 60 rupees. This is due to global reasons. And the steel makers have increased the price. Basically, we are the converters. We have to have our EBITDA margin with us. So at whatever price we purchase the HR coil, we add our margins and we sell our products in the market. So basic reasons for increasing the realization is increase in the raw material cost.
Sure, sir. That's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vineet, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. Just had two questions. I'll ask one after another. What is the contribution of value-added products, sir, in our sales? And also in terms of pricing as well for the value-added products compared to other products.
Yes, very good morning. So right now the current the percentage of value-added products is around 15% at this point. And we are doing some capex which will increase the value-added proportion going forward. I think the company is targeting 25 to 30% of the value-added segment in the coming two years. Vineet, are you with us?
Mr. Vineet, your voice is not audible, sir. The line for Mr. Vineet is disconnected. We would like to remind participants that you may press star 1 to ask a question. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1 now. The next question is from the line of Rohit Bansal from Ajinkya LPM. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Mohit here.
Yes, good morning, Mohit.
Yeah, hi. So my question is regarding your points that you mentioned in your PPT, which is about some approval that you've received from the Collectrain project. Can you please throw some light on what products they are and what is the opportunity that we have there?
The company has received the approval very recently, and we are in the development phase. There are very specific products that the Japanese contractors they are requiring. So we are in the phase of doing some development for them. And once the products get applied in the pilot phase, then the demand should be fairly very generous. So we are expecting, by Q2 of FY22, the supplies should start for this project. And the pipes would be varied for water transportation, for structural use, for piling use. It'll be various applications in this project.
Okay, so these are is it safe to assume that these are newer products that you're trying to get approved, or this is from existing lines?
This is from the existing line, but we have done some modifications as per the requirements. So you can consider this as a new SKU.
Okay, and these would be in the value added line.
Yes, of course.
The product range.
Yes, definitely.
So these will have higher margins.
Yes, definitely. And the quantity is very, very big.
Okay, but you won't be able to give us a hint in terms of the opportunity size that we have there, or is it too early to put those numbers?
By Q2 we'll have a fair bit of idea, like how much, because it's a 4-year project. So they are also doing some R&D on this. So by Q2 we'll have some idea, like how much this opportunity will come out to be.
Okay, and these products will go from our Sanand line or from Maharashtra?
From Maharashtra, Sanand and Secunderabad, all three.
Also, okay. All right, thank you, Doug. These were the questions from my side. All the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ritesh Shah from Investec. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the follow-up question. So just wanted to understand, how do you see the competitive intensity in this particular industry?
Yeah, hi again. So Ritesh, competition, as we know, the industry is getting consolidated on a year-to-year basis. So I think the competition is increasing and decreasing at the same time. So only like now, earlier there were many companies, but now the companies in the main fray, they are only a handful of now. Those who have got pan-India locations, their manufacturing locations, they have just a very strong distribution network, very big product mix, approvals in in so many institutions and government bodies. So with this, the players who are able to meet all the check boxes, they are able to compete. So for us, it is a very it is an interesting period. We are on a growth phase, and we are consolidating our manufacturing capacities all over India, and we are adding more value-added products in this financial year. So going forward, I think it should be very interesting and exciting for the company.
Sure. And sir, you have emphasized on value-added products, but is it possible for you to qualify how much is the differential in EBITDA per ton and working capital for, say, 15% of the volume that we have versus the rest of the business? I'm just trying to get a sense as this pie actually grows bigger, how actually it can play out for the company, say, 2 years, 3 years out.
So Ritesh, typically, the value-added product, the contribution on EBITDA per ton basis is approximately from 800 to 1,000 rupees per ton. This is a typical valuation on a long-term basis.
Okay. So the average
working capital for the value-added, I would say it will more or less the same. It will be very difficult to quantify the working capital for the value-added product business. But like on a ballpark figure, I would fairly assume that it is approximately the same.
Okay. So when you say, sir, $800, I could not reconcile it because EBITDA per ton for FY21 was, say, at 2,600 rupees, right? So for value-added pie, that number should be substantially higher.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Shah. There's a disturbance coming from your line. Request you to mute your line while the management answers your question.
Sure. Mr. Bansal, you got my question?
No, can you repeat, please?
Yeah. My question was specifically for the value-added products pie. How much would be the EBITDA per ton? At the company level for FY21, what we are looking at is 2,611. So for those 15% of the volumes, the number should be substantially higher. So just wanted to have a sense of what the number would be.
Yeah, EBITDA per ton of 2,600 is an annual EBITDA per ton, but due to Q1 of FY21, that was a complete washout. But we are increasing we are trying to increase the capacity of value-added products. And this year we are hopeful. The consolidated EBITDA per ton should go up from here.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and one now. The next question is from the line of Raj Joshi from Ace Securities. Please go ahead. Mr. Raj Joshi, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You may go ahead.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, hi, sir. Good morning. Sir, I have a couple of questions. The first question is, what kind of sales volume growth we can expect for this year? And also, what kind of effective capacity utilization rate are we targeting on the total capacity of 5.8 lakh tons?
So, Mr. Joshi, the volume part, I think we should be doing well, but this current quarter is, a bit challenged due to the second wave of COVID. But if things remain stable for the rest of the year, we are hopeful of a volume growth from FY21 levels, and it should be of fairly decent volume growth. Regarding capacity utilization, if we leave the Q1, I think the rest of the year should be above 70% on a total level.
Okay. Sir, is there any ballpark number on volume growth?
So, Mr. Joshi, I think by Q2 we'll have a fair bit of idea, where we are and how the future is, coming. So I would like to reserve myself on the volume growth part for this conference call, but we can discuss this in the July or August months, where we'll have decent clarity.
Okay, sure. So my second question is, it is regarding to the addition of our new solar power plants. What kind of power cost saving it can lead to in terms of our per ton basis?
So wherever the plants are installed, so there we are witnessing a saving of 200 to 250 rupees per ton.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of VP Rajesh from Banyan Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity. My question was regarding the growth in EBITDA you mentioned, that EBITDA per ton will improve this year. So what can we expect it to be, assuming things normalize from Q2 onwards?
Sorry, Mr. Rajesh, can you be a little louder, please? Your voice is very soft.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Am I audible now? So I was asking that you indicated that your EBITDA per ton will improve in this year. So assuming, from Q2 things normalize a bit, what will it look like, for this financial year or for Q2? Any color on that?
So Rajesh, I think EBITDA will definitely, it will improve on a per ton basis from here. We are just, waiting for the things to stabilize from here. And with the current, the back-end and fore-end integrations that we are doing, I think the proportion of value-added business and also EBITDA per ton, this will definitely go up. But to quantify at this stage will be a little difficult for us.
Okay.
As you may understand.
Sure. And my second question is that this big project you were talking about, which will roll out over the next 4 years, do you anticipate doing further capex and putting more, additional capacity for it? Maybe not this year, but the following year, etc.?
So our target is to reach a 1 million ton total capacity in coming 3 to 4 years. So majority of the greenfield capex has already been done, and the further will come through brownfield expansion. So once and we are going in a very phased manner, and once this 5.8 gets utilized by 70%, so we move on to the next phase of expansion.
Sorry, you said next phase of expansion will be mostly
will be mostly brownfield.
Mostly brownfield. Okay. All right. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mehernosh Pantaki from Dhanki Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. I had 2-3 questions. One is that is the company having any presence or has plans to enter into high diameter, high thickness tubes or something like color coated tubes going forward, which your competitor has also announced to setting up the facility out there, which is likely to commence next year, and it is planning to create a niche market in that. So does the company have any plans to enter into such value-added higher sections, basically?
Yes, we are planning to pour into large diameter pipes. The working is going on, and I think in FY23 we'll come with some kind of announcement on this part.
Okay, sir. And regarding anything like color coated tubes or something like that?
This product actually, it is very difficult to assess the market in India, because even worldwide the proportion of color coated tubes is very, very negligible. So we have to see how the product responses in the market. So we'll wait out for the customer feedback.
Okay, sir. And so my next question was on the galvanized tubes. So as you stated that galvanized tubes will be a focus going forward, and Jal Jeevan Mission can be a big boost to that segment, that product category. Now we have been hearing that galvanized pipes are being replaced by plastic pipes also. So is it that the volumes going forward could be impacted, or is it likely to benefit more plastic piping peers? Because we have heard that the galvanized pipes are being replaced by the plastic pipes gradually.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. But the galvanized pipes are being replaced by plastic pipes in the plumbing division.
Okay.
For the household applications. But whereas the infrastructure is concerned, the galvanized pipes is the first choice because of the durability and the lifespan of the product. Green in this galvanized products, they last for typically 25 to 30 years. Whereas the plastic pipes for the infrastructural applications will be very, very, very less. So all the central governments and state governments, they have preferred galvanized pipes over any other kind of pipes.
Okay, sir. And so one last question on the, we have also heard about some of the companies are facing raw material shortages and are facing some challenges with respect to purchasing of the raw materials in the market. So are there any challenges that we are witnessing on our side?
Yeah, on a whole, the entire industry is facing acute shortages of steel. But fortunately, our company is having long-term contracts with all the major suppliers. So we are safeguarded for our purchases. So we are getting what we have been lifting in the past and what our requirement is.
So even for increasing the purchases from the same players with whom you are having long-term contracts, there is not a difficulty as of now.
As a whole, it is a challenge to procure more material, but we have our strategies in place which will meet those requirements.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shri Ram Rajaram from Ratnatraya Capital. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the follow-up. So firstly, two questions. One is you spoke about the Jal Jeevan Mission. So where exactly do these GI pipes go into in the infra part? And secondly, can you throw some light on the debt repayment also?
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Raja. In Jal Jeevan Mission, this is a, piped water supply to each and every house in India. This is a mission taken by the central government. And they are using these pipes, galvanized pipes, to take the water connection to every household in India. So this is the target of the central government, the water distribution. And they are using galvanized pipes and large diameter pipes for these applications.
So from which point to point? I mean, can you tell me in terms of distribution? Is it?
This is the last mile. This is the last mile connectivity.
Okay. I got it.
Galvanized pipes pertain to the last mile connectivity.
Okay. And on the debt side?
Yeah, debt side, as you must have witnessed, our debt equity ratio has gone down from 1.77 to 1.45. And with the project expansions getting completed, this should further go down significantly in coming 2 to 3 years.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rajiv Desai from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Rajiv.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Sir, sorry, if I was missed something, I will just ask two questions from my side, sir. In terms of expansion side, since we are expanding the capacity to 5.86 thousand tons, lakhs, just how more likely to expand in next 2 to 3 years in terms of expansion, in terms of volume? At least can you guide it, and how will you manage the debt, or is there will be no expansion, or you just will maintain this level for next 1.5 years on that side, just in terms of, or any new pan India, new location you are likely to add it up to more increase with respect to distribution reach, which your strategy focus is that. So more on the strategy part of it.
Mr. Rajiv, our focus is towards 1 million tons in coming 3 years.
Okay.
And most of this expansion will be brownfield because we have recently set up our 3 new plants, and any capacity expansion will be through brownfield measures. And we shall be incurring the capex through our internal accruals itself.
Okay. And sir, with respect to your 3.3 megawatt of total electricity generation plant, so what will be just in terms of cost savings per year? Just can you have some rough cut numbers?
Yes, this question came up earlier also. So,
sorry, I was
I know. So, wherever these plants are installed, so we are seeing the benefits of about 200 rupees per ton, wherever the solar plants are installed.
Okay, sir. And last one question, sir. Any new product line which you are likely to add up in terms of diversification? Or this, what is your complete basket is, and just you will basically go with natural expansion with this progression?
So this year the focus is to increase the percentage of value-added products. So for this year we'll be focusing on the galvanized products more.
So from 10-15% you want to make it 20-25% in next 2 years?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, sir.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Desai. So there's a disturbance coming from your line.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for my session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. We would like to remind participants that you may press star 1 to ask a question. As there are no further questions, I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Anish Bansal, Whole-Time Director, for closing comments.
Thank you, everyone. I take this opportunity to thank everyone for joining on the call. I hope we have been able to address all your queries. For any further information, kindly get in touch with us or SGA, our Investor Relations Advisor. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. On behalf of Hi-Tech Pipes Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.